Hey, everybody. Stu Smith here, going live. Hope you are doing well. Almost done with this week. And I hope you're getting a good workout in. Anyway, today I'm talking about a few things, but I'm going to take some questions at the end, show some videos as well. But I would like to share my screen right from the start because a picture is worth 1,000 words. And what I mean by that is, check this out. So this is my article I wrote this week, and it's basically my take on the pyramid. So if you take a look at the base or the foundation of this pyramid, this is really geared towards really hard physical training, special ops selections that you have to endure at some time in your life if you choose that route. All of them require a physical fitness development in all the elements of fitness. And that means you need a solid foundation and be good at strength and power, muscle stamina and endurance, speed and agility, flexibility, mobility, grip, and be durable enough to handle load bearing and have enough work capacity to handle long days of working. Not just PTing and running and swimming and rucking, but actually just staying up all day and working. That's where the foundation of this pyramid, if you will, is based. It is based on that. However, that is not enough to get you through certain selection programs that have really high attrition rates. Because here's what happens. Once you developed all these elements of fitness, it's not easy. You've created this discipline, right? And that is, created by being persistent, creating good habits. Next thing you know, you've made yourself a little more disciplined because you're doing the right things, even when no one is watching. And that is a huge next step to the, characteristics that you are building to create someone who is successful at getting through selection. Then the other final pieces of this puzzle are a little more subjective, a little more challenging to test, really hard to test somebody to see where their grit and resilience is. Now, one of my favorite things to do is just see how people handle negative feedback, failures, stresses, and obstacles to what they're trying to do. Things get in the way sometimes. Life gets in the way of something. How do you handle that? Does it just flow right off you and you just keep on rolling, or does it stop you in your tracks and you're a mess and can't get anything done for a few weeks because things are all messed up? Do you come back stronger than before, or do you just quit? Right? That is a very significant part of this success pyramid, if you will. The other part is passion and heart. And once again, how do you measure someone's heart? Very hard to do. I haven't figured it out. But you have to ask yourself, this is where it becomes a little more internal for you. You might have all the physical attributes that you need. You have discipline, you have grit. But how bad do you really want this? Why are you doing this to yourself? And you need a really good answer for that because you will be tested at some point. Some event is going to test your will on how bad you really want this journey to move forward. And finally, the final piece of this pyramid, and don't be fooled by the bigger ones being more important and the little ones not being more important, or the top being the most important or the bottom one being the least. It's not how this works. It all has to go together. But that final piece of the puzzle is, how bad do you want this? When things get hard, do you get harder? Right? Do you get tougher? And that's where we're going to kind of lead off with the conversation. You guys have questions about that or other things, please post them. Happy to answer. We'll do some CSS critiques as well. But I just wanted to share this one with you. This is over at stewsmithfitness.com. Click the articles section right there and scroll down one, and you'll see it. Pyramid Mindset Fix, Never Quit Again. By the way, here's a bit of fun news I woke up to on Monday morning. I was ranked number 1 and number 3 on the top 10 military fitness blog sites. Now, take that with a grain of salt. I'm not sure how many military fitness blog sites there are out there, but it's kind of fun to say, military.com. I've been writing for them for over 20 years and pretty much have been their military fitness guy for that long. And then, of course, this blog post right here was ranked number 1 and number 3. So, is what it is. I appreciate someone liking it, giving me a ranking. That's kind of cool. But let's take some questions and see where we are. Looks like Nick asks, do you remember a specific moment or a couple of moments during SEAL training where you considered quitting? Or did this not ever cross your mind? You know what? I actually wrote an article on this a while back ago, and I asked about 20 SEALs that I know, did they ever consider it? And it was not a consideration. I never thought about it. I truly never thought about quitting. I basically just prayed that I would not get injured. That was it. There was nothing that they were going to put on me that I was going to quit. Now, I may have failed something, in the future, may have failed a tactical event, may have failed a physical event. I did not, but those were things that I just had to bring my A game for and make sure that I was hitting on all cylinders and be able to crush whatever test that was in front of me. But no, I never thought about quitting. In fact, there was a moment in Hell Week when I realized that, I don't think I will quit. And that was a moment. We had just finished the Round the World paddle. Not quite sure how long it took, but we won it. And we were able to eat something and go under our boat. We cuddled up with our boat crew underneath the boat, and we were there for a good hour and a half, and fall asleep. And I had never been more comfortable in my life, on the sand, wet, cuddled up with a bunch of dudes, and under a boat. That's when I kind of realized that you have this ability to go back to this caveman mode of just surviving and getting things done. And on a truly basic level, creature comforts didn't matter. And that was something that I just realized that was one of those moments that I was like, this kind of sucks in hindsight, but it was one of those moments where I was like, it's not that bad. Not that bad. So here we go. Let's take some more questions. If gym and heavy weights are not an option, is gymnastics like training worthy, as they usually are very well-rounded athletes? You know what? I would, yeah, absolutely. Calisthenics movements, you know what we do? In fact, if you look on my Instagram page today, you will see we're doing pull-ups, push-ups, dips, brought some dumbbells out. So we were doing some weights. I did bring a bench press out as well. So we're doing bench press, but I also had a TRX out there where we're doing TRX push-ups. We're doing weighted pull-ups and weighted dips and weighted push-ups. So we just brought weight vests and TRX to make calisthenics harder. And, it cuts your reps in half. So you're not cranking out all these high volume repetitions. You're working the muscles a little bit differently to build some strength, more like that strength endurance type combination versus just constant calisthenics. But we do this in the fall. This is kind of our transition out of calisthenics and cardio summer. And now we're focusing on mixing in the weights with calisthenics, making calisthenics a little harder with weight vests, sandbags, um, TRX, and kettlebells and dumbbells. And that is how we do it. So, but yes, gymnastics they're definitely strong people, but they're also very light people, right? So typical gymnasts are, I don't know, you don't see many 200-pound gymnasts. So their abilities to do incredible things comes from a pound for pound strength that is unmatched, but they're also very light people. I mean, we had a gymnast in our class that did 72 pull-ups, right? Complete animal. Could do the obstacle course really fast. I mean, he was just so agile. But he was light, and rucking was hard for him. So everybody's got a strength and weaknesses you got to deal with. That's why you really have to look at all the elements of fitness and test yourself and see where your weaknesses are, because they will be exposed at some point in any selection program that you go through. All right, let's see. John Doe says, congrats. Oh, thank you. Your system is something that is easy for me to trust simply because it is obvious that you have our best. Oh, well, thank you. I do. I enjoy seeing people's success. I find nothing more satisfying. And yeah, it's great to have people rank you, whatever, but where I find the most satisfaction is getting an email back or a text back from someone and saying, "Hey, I got my contract," or "Hey, I just made it through Hell Week. I used your programs. Thank you." Whatever. Hey, I lost 80 pounds and I'm able to serve, as a firefighter now. Just countless great stories. And I would say probably some of my favorite ones are, whenever I get a kid whose first time ever swimming across a pool is with me, in our local pool. And he's just so thrilled that he just swam one length across the pool. And that excitement excites me, you know. And then next thing you know, he goes and works his butt off and gets better. He comes back and he's passing a 500-yard swim now. Not great, but we try to get him a little better. And his story, he makes it through buds, and his first swim across a swimming pool was with me, probably a year and a half before that. So those are some great stories, and that's where I get a lot of joy from, seeing that. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's move on. So good morning. Do you know how difficult it would be to get a SEAL contract with a history of surgery, right hip labrum, right ankle repair, fully recovered? Should not be an issue if you have all the documentation. Surgeries nowadays are a lot different than they were 20, 30 years ago, even in my time. Things just are done better now. Like, it used to be a death's wish or death sentence, I guess, so to speak. If you had shoulder surgery, you have a torn labrum anywhere in your body, you were disqualified. If you had an ACL repair, you were disqualified. I think I saw maybe one in the 90s that was able to get through buds on an ACL tear. But they started getting better. The surgery started getting a lot better. So I think nowadays it's not an issue. I have seen, put it this way, I've seen a guy go with double shoulder surgery, labrum tears, make it through buds as a SEAL now. I've seen a hip labrum tear get through buds as a SEAL now. So yes, you just need to have all the documentation so MEPS can review it and, have killer scores to back it up. And that shouldn't be a problem. Ankles, yeah, shouldn't be an issue either. I tell you, I have the worst ankles ever. I've had surgeries on my ankles as well. But once I was at Buds wearing boots all the time, never sprained my ankle. I would only sprain my ankles if I was running in tennis shoes. Let's see. My family lives near Coronado. On the weekends, would I be able to see them in buds? If I was, would you recommend it? Well, here's the deal. You get weekends off at buds, so you won't see people doing buds things on the weekend. So you will only see them doing things on Monday through Friday. So you might see them, but it's not like you can go cruise around, the Navy base looking for dudes carrying boats on their heads. You may see them crossing the street to go over to the other side of the amphib base. You can go to Hotel del Coronado, hang out there. Usually guys are running past you, but once again, not on Saturday or Sunday. You won't see anybody. So, see, I got a 500-meter swim down to 12 flat from 15, thanks to the 50-50. Do I keep doing it until I get down to the 8-9 minute zone? I would say at least the 9 minute zone. 500 meters is a lot different than 500 yards. It's another, 50 meters compared to 500 yards. So it will probably add a 50, 60 seconds to your swim. So if you can get a 9-minute 500 meter, that's pretty good. Yeah, I would try to get it down to 9 minutes. If 50-50s are too easy, you can do one of two things. You can decrease the rest to almost nothing. So you're 50 free and your rest is the 50 CSS at your goal pace and there's no rest in between. Or you can rest a little bit, but increase the distances. Maybe try 75-75s or 100-100s. They're really hard too. But that's how I would progress with that one and see if that works for you. I'm going to see what kind of CSS videos we have to show, and I will share my screen. And we'll take a break from answering questions, and let's see what this guy has to submit. All right, so this is kind of a short one, but I think it was enough to say he was not doing it right. So here we go. So as you can see here, top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. Where's that glide? You should be gliding and see this head right here. There's so many things going wrong here. This is not really the CSS. This is really more of a elementary side stroke, because if you notice, the top arm and the kick almost go together. Watch. Whoop. Right? So he kind of kicks in the top arm. You should be doing a top arm, bottom arm, kick, and hold the glide. Hold that glide. So you should be holding the glide here. Like, you don't even try to get in the glide position, right? After you kick, you should be gliding. I mean, you're going right with a kick and an arm pull almost at the same time. Then you pop your head up so much that your feet drop, and now you're kind of swimming diagonally. So, no, this is not the CSS. If you're doing this, you also got to watch where you're going. You're going to hit the wall. Boom. All right. So, anyway. So, well, thanks, Jamie. Or Jaime. Let's see. Thank you for all that you do. In regards to the CSS, is it imperative to pull the bottom arm all the way to the hip? No. In fact, I would treat it almost like a breaststroke pull. So it's, if you look at what a breaststroke skull is, SCULL, that is what you should be doing. So it's really nothing more than, like, instead of taking it all the way down to your hip, you're just really doing one of these numbers, right? So, yeah, I would highly recommend shortening the bottom arm pull, as it just works a little bit nicer for the timing of the recovery of the both arms together. So your top arm is going to be a full stroke, right? your bottom arm's just going, if I can get it to in the camera, your bottom arm's really just going to be like that. So instead of taking it all the way down and it's all the way touching your hips, it doesn't even come close to your hips. It should be maybe down to your ribs with the arm bent, and then they recover together like that. Um, that's what I recommend. Is it realistic to aim for 100 unbroken push-ups for the PST, or is it good enough to just get 100 plus, even if you have to break it up? Well, when you say unbroken, I'm assuming you're meaning like you stop and you rest in the up position, because most people do not get 100 unbroken push-ups for the PST. They get maybe 50, then they do these little sets of 10 until they get maybe 90, maybe 100 in the next minute, minute 10 seconds roughly. Because I've seen, guys get 60, 70 unbroken, and they can do that in less than a minute, which gives you another minute to just pile on these little smaller sets of 10, take a little breather with the, in the up position, because as soon as you drop to your knees, the test is done. So you don't want to be in that situation where you think an unbroken push-up is just constantly moving. Unbroken is just staying in the push-up position, and you can rest in the up position, but don't rest in the down position with your chest laying on the ground or your knees on the floor, because if you do, your push-ups are done. So it is okay to rest in the up position. Hope that makes sense, right? Looks like you posted another one here. Usually I get 65, 70 before I have to break. Forget to put that in the comment. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, I would say that's fine. I think the best I've ever done in a push-up test was 80 in the first minute, and then I was able to get another 25 or so in the next minute. So, I was able to break 100. So yeah, did that recently actually. So back in my day, I could probably hit about 130, 140 in 2 minutes. So let's see. I have not seen the Netflix series Barbarians. I will check it out. I'm always looking for something to watch every now and then when I get a moment. Let's see. I trained with your group about 2 years ago for a couple weeks for both surgeries. Hope to make it back down there. Yeah, come see us. Check us out. Let's see. Mr. Smith, I'm a power lifter, need to drop a lot of weight. Yeah, man, I was there. I know. PJ or border control or border patrol agent is my goal. Good goals. One is definitely harder than the other. Requires a lot more swimming in the PJ world. Yeah, you don't want to do a body part split. In fact, if you're a power lifter and need to lose weight, calisthenics and cardio. Don't even touch another weight for a good long cycle. When I say that, I'd go at least 6 months and see what that does to you. You may not be happy with your 1 rep max, but you will be crushing calisthenics and cardio, which is what you need to do. But, when I was a powerlifting football player, I did not touch weights for a year and a half. And all I did was triathlon training and calisthenics. And I also played rugby, so it was a little bit different. But I didn't lift weights. I was constantly doing calisthenics, running, swimming, and biking. And I was a little heavier, so running too much bothered me. So 2/3 of my cardio were non-impact cardio activities, biking and swimming. Helped a lot with getting those typical overuse injuries that people tend to do when they're trying to run too much right out of the blue and being heavy. So I've actually written a lot about that process because that was my journey as well. But yeah, you got to lay off the bro splits and get out of the weight room and run, swim, ruck, bike, and do calisthenics. That's the only way you're going to get better at PT test that gets you selected. And it help you with losing weight too. Yeah. All right. So, any advice for outside hip pain that travels down to the knee while running? Ooh, and post run, warming up significantly, cut down on the pain. However, by the time I hit the first mile, I'm hurting again. Well, I have a rule of thumb that I go by that if it hurts to run, stop running. If it hurts to walk, don't run. And if it hurts to do nothing while you're standing around or sitting around, go to a doctor because that is not good. Um, Sounds like an IT band pain, though, um, more than anything else. So um, just be just be real careful with it. I would go with more non-impact cardio activity, like I told Down Dirty 97 up there. Um, Try to bike, swim, lay off swimming with fins. Sometimes that aggravates that area as well. So, and pull back on the running a little bit, but go and you could row. But mix in some foam rolling, the bottom of the knee, at the hip, mix in some dirty dog exercises, stuff for the glutes, glute medius. That may be helpful for you, but just be careful with running too much, especially when it hurts like that. I have found that foam rolling a little bit the um, before a run is helpful, and then of course after the run also helpful. However, if you're sitting down a lot after your workouts, like you sit down in a chair for work all day or something, that is going to make things tighter as well. So it's going to hurt more. So you might want to stand up a little more, do some stretching, things like that during the day. So it's not just your running, but what you do the rest of the day. If you have a long commute, sitting down in your car, sitting down on a desk, all of those things can aggravate your knee, especially after running. So my suggestions: take a break from running, do some non-impact cardio, mix in some massage, foam rolling tools, and see how that works. Let's see. How good is good enough with regards to rucking pace? In the past, I believe you said 10 to 12-minute miles, but my buddy in prep at the moment says their pace is closer to 8:30 and 9-minute miles with a 35 to 50 pounds. That's not uncommon. I've seen 8-9-minute miles before with rucking, but I will say this: those are the fastest dudes in selection. Now, 10 is pretty good, but yeah, you can break 10. You just have to have a much faster cadence on your stride, because where people screw up with running fast or rucking is they actually look like they're running. They got a long stride, they're hitting hard. That extra weight is not good. Things just hurt more. But if you shorten that stride and just increase your cadence, your RPMs, you can get yourself down below 10 minutes easily, maybe even hit 9. I've even done, let me see, what did I do? 4 miles in 45 minutes. So what's that? Still 10.5-minute mile. So, um, yeah. So, some guys were hitting the 4 miles in like 35 minutes, which was pretty fast. So, you can do that. You definitely can do that, but you just got to work on your cadence. I will say this: that is not the norm for most of your rucks. That will be a special event ruck. Not all your rucks are going to be like that. Once again, if you can keep it in the 9-10 minute range, you're going to be top 25% of the class. All right. I'm getting 85 push-ups on the PST. Do you recommend keeping up with weights or switching to only push-ups and focusing on calisthenics? 85 is plenty. I'm not sure. I would suggest, you keep up 85 push-ups, mix in some weights. I mean, that's fine. My bigger issues would be keeping up with your running and your swimming and your rucking, depending on what you're training for. Then just worry about push-ups. Push-ups, you're going to get plenty of practice with push-ups. How often do you swim with fins a week? I swim with fins on leg day. So anytime you do legs, squats, deadlifts, rucking, I swim with fins. So we actually set up our workouts where we do 2 leg days a week. Every now and then we may hit a third swim with fins, but it's not a leg day. It'd be like 2 leg days and a run, swim, ruck workout. And anytime we do what we call the Spec Ops Triathlon, which is like a 4-mile run, 4-mile ruck, and a 1-mile swim with fins, we'll add fins, obviously. So that'd be a third time you do swim with fins. But yeah, leg days are a great way to top off your leg day, is with a pair of fins at the end. Any tips for building up resilience against shin splints? You know what? I'm going to just type in shin splints into the Google machine with my name on it, and I have an article for that. You got to remember, I've been writing articles for years. So if you do that, just go into Google, type in that question. I actually have a couple of good articles on it. The other one is a recurring shin splints and healing tips. This has some good information in it. A lot of balance drills, shin development, things like that. When's the next Spec Ops try? We do them every quarter here in Maryland. We will probably do one maybe that week after Thanksgiving. I don't have it set yet for the date, but it's just going to be a normal workout type of thing. So it might be a Friday morning or a Monday morning at 6 a.m. And we just get after it for 4-mile run, 4-mile ruck, 1-mile swim. Maybe mix in some special events like bear crawls and fireman carries and things like that. Okay, let's see. I got another CSS to review. Let's see what this one looks like. I can't remember what this one is, so let's check it out. All right, we got a good kick off the wall. Can't remember if I showed this one. This one does not look familiar. Me showing it. Oh, this is really good. Look at that. Nice. Top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. He's got a tight arm recovery. Good kick and glide. Notice how when he kicks on his side, and then during the glide, he rolls over on his belly. Now, that is preference. You don't have to roll over on your belly during the glide phase. I prefer it just because I seem to get a better top arm pull out of it if I make it more like a freestyle catch. So look at this. Look at that streamline. Head down, biceps near his ears, double arm pull. Loses a little momentum out of that, but not much. He gets right back into it pretty easily. I mean, this is really good. I don't have anything on this one. Yeah, that's smooth. Nice. It was like 24 seconds. Good. Nice. That's a good one. Best approach to cold weather running. You know what? Today was 38 degrees when I ran. But I will say this. We have been running outside all fall. So the weather has gone from like 70 to 60 to 50 to 40, and now it's in the 30s. So we're kind of slowly acclimating ourselves, getting used to that, um, temperature. So where people have a hard time cold weather running is they run indoors, for half the winter, and then they try to go outside. And last time they were running, it was like 60 degrees, and now it's 30. That sucks. That hurts, right? So approach it incrementally. So if you know that it's 30 degrees and you haven't done any 30-degree running, maybe run later in the day when the sun's out. Might be 45, might be 50, depending on where you live. That may be a better option for you. But, the common sense approach to this is, dress warmly. I usually wear a hat, gloves, hooded sweatshirt, sweatpants, and just keep moving. Try to stay warm. Might break a little sweat under there, but I'm not cold. It takes about 10 minutes and you get warmed up. I do a lot of nose breathing. So breathe in through your nose, out your mouth. That helps with the pain that you get from cold air sometimes hitting the back of your throat. I tell you, something that's been really useful for me is to actually wear a mask, a little cloth mask that people are wearing because of COVID. But wear it running, and you put it under your nose, so you breathe in through your nose and out your mouth, and it keeps all this stuff warm too, so your face can stay warm as well. So preference depends on just how cold you want to go. And then afterwards, if you can, I go to this indoor swimming pool afterwards, and after being cold outside, that water feels really warm, feels pretty good, and it's a good little transition to getting cleaned up and get a little more cardio, cleaned up, and starting your day. So there you go. Hey, this is something kind of cool. Let me show you what I got handed to me the other day. So my guys hooked me up with my third phase helmet. So this is my Buds Class 182. Stripe means you're an officer. Now I got a nice little thing for my I love me wall. So I thought that was a pretty nice little gift. And what made me realize something too is we just had our 30th Naval Academy reunion. So back in May of 1991, I graduated from the Naval Academy, and October, around Halloween, we were going through Hell Week. So 30 years ago, about a week ago, I was going through Hell Week. Interesting memory just came up to me. I was like, damn, it's been 30 years. Don't know where that time's gone, fellas. It goes fast. So take advantage of your youth and keep getting after it, because it goes away quickly. You guys have any more questions for me? I don't have anything for you guys. Let me see. Let me see what else I did this week. I think I wrote another. You know what? This is timely. This is a timely one. Let me just share with you something that we have been doing this winter lift cycle. And we did it last winter lift cycle, but we've already started it this year in the fall. So we'll probably go through 16 weeks of this. And it's basically this workout right here. Not tactical fitness, but this one right here, the increased strength and crush the PST. Tactical strength is more of a pure winter lift cycle where you need to take some deload weeks to recover sometimes. Whereas what we did in this one, increased strength and crush the PST pass test, is our deload weeks are calisthenics and cardio weeks. So we go through 3 weeks of a lift cycle, and then we go through 1 week of calisthenics and cardio. So that's what this article is. If you go to the article section at Stu Smith Fitness and scroll down, you'll see, why do a winter lift cycle, mixed with, cows and cardio. So once again, our goal is to get good at all of this, right? And if you can get good at all of this, I don't know if you can see that very well or not, but it's strength, power, speed, agility, grip, anaerobic, aerobic conditioning, muscle stamina, all of that kind of blends in together and creates a durable and more work tolerant body. Um, and then the other sections are, recovery, nutrition, mobility, flexibility. All of these are going to help mitigate stress on that you're putting on your body. And then finally, there are some things that you have to learn while you're going through this training. So learning new tactical skills, your coordination, your mindset, kind of creates a stable platform for you to grow and do all these new things that you're learning. But, the top half of this is going to enable you to learn better. The easier all of this stuff is, the easier it is to learn. So that is why I created this Venn diagram on everything that's needed to be a good tactical athlete. And that's whether you're going through as a student, you're trying to get through as a selection process, or you're an active duty operator and you still have to maintain all these skills, especially the stress mitigation, because that gets a lot more challenging when you're missing sleep, you're deploying a lot, you're away from home, things get stressful regardless of your situation there. But this is just gives you a uh um good reason why you mix it all in there, to kind of top off your winter lift cycle with some maintenance for your calisthenics and cardio. But it counts as a deload week, even though you're trying to crush your PST, and that's what this does. It's a pretty good book for that. So anyway, let's see. Anybody ask any more questions on this one? Yeah, that chart is becoming a lifestyle as a goal. Good. Yeah. I mean, I love that chart. It made so much sense when I saw it all together, because, it's hard to explain sometimes everything that you need to be good at. And, some of those just blow right over people's head. But when you see it on that diagram and why you do these elements of fitness, because you want to have more endurance to work all day. Why do you do these? Because you want to be more durable to be able to handle load bearing activities and other things that occur that are hard on the body. But yeah, thank you, John. Uh, if you can hit a 35-minute 5-miler, you'll be good. Yes. Yes, that's a 7-minute mile pace. Good to go for running. What's a good 4-mile time run for running on a track? Beaches near me are nearly all soft sand and slanted, so not a good. Yeah, I would agree. You don't want to run on a slanted beach. Um, those will definitely mess up your knees. Luckily, the beach we run on, the hard packed sand is slanted, but the soft packed sand is flat. So it's nothing but soft sand. Some places a little more packed than others, but it's mostly soft sand. But yeah, if you're trying to get a 4-mile timed run, if you can get a 27, 28-minute 4-mile timed run, that's great. If you can do a 5-miler in 35, like Twisticle said, I would agree with that. That's a good standard. Um, 7-minute miles for your longer runs and 6-minute miles for your shorter runs. Those are two good standards to do. In fact, I wrote an article on that, and it's 20 miles a week um, of running. But, instead of, I'll put a link here right now, instead of, trying to hit 40 or 50 miles a week and do long, slow distance to do that, let's try to hit 20 miles a week. And then all the runs are either 6 or 7-minute mile pace. So that is where people get really fast and start crushing timed runs to get, the 1.5 mile or 2-mile timed run, or for the Marines, 3 or 4 for buds, or 5 for Ranger School. All of those are good 6, 7 minute mile zones that are very doable. And you'll be surprised that sometimes that long slow distance on a Saturday, how that affects your Monday run. Skip it one day and then come in on Monday fresh and watch your times get faster. Just an idea. So, what's the most accurate surface to test your timed run on? Track, treadmill, road? Obviously, be good at all, but I live close to the mountains with a lot of hills and runs. You know what? I tell you what, we run a hill once a week, sometimes twice a week, and that has been a huge help for guys running on 4 mile timed runs at Buds. In fact, they credit that hill run to them being able to handle a couple of things: a lot of lunges with a log, and um, 4 mile timed runs at Buds. It is a very hard packed sand at Buds. I mean, it is almost like a track. I would say it's borderline, not quite as hard as the track, and not quite as soft as, or should say, maybe even not quite as hard as the turf on the inside of the track, but it's close. So my suggestion would be, if you're on a turf field with a, if you're on a track with a turf field in the middle, try to run on that very edge of the track that's turf, and that is going to be a better um, 4 mile timed run, uh, cushiony, uh, I guess, ground that you're looking for. So, anyway, but I try to mix it all. So we'll do soft sand runs, we'll do hill runs, we'll do trail runs, and we'll do pavement runs. So we hit a track too every now and then. But be honest with you, all of our runs where we run on pavement are basically like a track, as far as marked half miles and everything. How often do you do sandbag work? Heard it's common during prep. We do it quite often. We usually do a lot of throws. We do some like power cleans with it. Um, we'll do chest carry lunges with a sandbag, overhead presses with a sandbag, shoulder carry squats with a sandbag. So basically, you can simulate log PT with a sandbag. And if you do a search called the Sand Baby Murph, it's a lot of fun. A great little workout. I've written it a few times in some of my books. But if you do a Google search on the Sand Baby Murph, I wrote a couple articles for military.com on it. In fact, you can see it right here. I'll put the thing in there for you. It's just a fun workout. And if you can't set the sandbag down at all throughout the whole time, and you have to accumulate kind of reps very similar to a Murph, like 100 push presses, 200 lunges, 100 per leg, 150 squats, 150 chest carry sit-ups, all of those, and you can't set the sandbag down the whole time. Any upcoming podcasts with Jeff Nichols? Not on the schedule. I just know that he's busy with a 6-week program that he's doing with some folks. So I try not to get much of his time because I know he's pretty busy. But we'll do another one soon. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been having fun doing these live Q&As versus, hard podcasts on one topic. So just kind of do a little bit of both. I got a couple coming up with some new guys going to be on their podcast. They're going to be on mine. They're pretty heavy into tactical fitness training as well. And we just kind of kick it back and forth as two coaches do. Let's see. Stu, just want to let you know I love your books because of the ebooks, because of the links to YouTube explanations within your site. makes information so easy to catch up. Yeah, that's something that I got the idea a long time ago. It's probably 10 or 12 years ago. Once I started making ebooks, I made all these videos of the exercises that I do, and then I link those exercises into the ebook. So if you're watching the ebook, obviously, you can control click those links. It'll show you a video of that exercise. Same for swimming and other things like that. So yeah, thank you. I thought that was a pretty good idea doing that. So it's got the picture of exercises, but then you can click the link there and get a video of it too. So it's not like it's groundbreaking technology there, but it's something that might as well take advantage of what you have. Let's see. Last question. All right. So, how would you break up calisthenics through the week? I heard you say you do legs twice a week. Is that body squats, lunges? Yep. Step ups, jumps. Yes. Those are days other than upper body calisthenics. Absolutely. I personally like to do an upper body, lower body split. So, for instance, this week we did upper body Monday, lower body Tuesday, the mobility day on Wednesday with a lot of swimming and drills in there. And then we did upper body today. Tomorrow be a lower body day with a sand run. And then Friday will be an upper body cardio day. So that's how we set it up. But that's just 1 week. There's a couple different ways to do it. Other ways to do it are like full body days with a cardio day in the middle. So Monday could be like, say, like a Murph where you're doing pull-ups, push-ups, and squats and running and then swim afterwards. That's how we do it. So we'll typically do 3 upper body days, 2 lower body days, a mobility day, and or a cardio day in the week. And every day we end with running and swimming. On leg days, we will ruck and or swim with fins, depending on what you're training for. If you're an Army guy, no need to go in the pool unless you're broken. Put on a ruck and start rucking. If you're a Navy guy or Air Force PJ or recon candidate, you definitely want to get in the pool and swim with fins. So that's how we do it. Most of my programs are set up that way. But a good question. Good question. All right. I said that was the last question. I'm afraid that's going to have to be it. Just looking at my schedule, I got to head out of here real quick. I'm running a few minutes late. But thank you for listening. I do have a coupon code for you. If you go to Stu Smith Fitness, Compete 20 is my coupon code. Save 20% on anything. And then also, don't forget, if you want to see some more CSS critiques at the touch of a button, go to my TikTok channel, Stu Smith 50, same as my Instagram channel, Stu Smith 50. And all I do on there is post CSS critiques. So you don't have to float through a bunch of podcasts or other videos. It's just all CSS critiques. So you guys check that out and, send me some videos. I'll critique it for you. So, all right, folks, I got to go. If I did not answer your question, just send it to me by email, stu@stusmith.com, or you can DM me on Instagram or put it in the comment section of this video once it posts. All right. So until next time, I will see you later. Have a good week and weekend.